Hi, this is Tony Kent, and this is Tony Kent Writes and Cross-Examines, another episode. Today, you'll be happy to know, we have decided we're not going to have an author. We're going to have somebody that all of the authors look up to and want to impress, and that is David H Headley of Goldsboro Books and also DHH Literary Agency. David is the co-founder of Goldsboro Books along with his partner Daniel. Goldsboro Books, as I'm sure you all know, and you should all know, is the #1 hardback signed first edition store effectively on the planet. It's in London, and we'll be talking about that in due course. David also represents a whole host of authors through his agency, DHH Literary Agency. And David has been named one of the 100 most influential people in UK publishing by none other than the bookseller. So, David, thank you very much for joining us from your back garden.
Pleasure.
It seems like there's got to be a nice place to be able to work when the sun's out, rather than being stuck indoors.
I think that's one of the wonderful things about the only good thing about the lockdown is that the weather has been amazing, and so I've spent a lot of time sitting in the garden, watching the birds, reading books, relaxing, drinking wine. It's been brilliant.
Sounds like a never-ending bank holiday.
Yeah, it basically is.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are saying, do they ever want to go back after lockdown? I'm wondering whether I want to ever go back to work after this.
Well, I think the world might change, and I do think that work will change. I mean, for example, what I do in my day job, you know, I'm a criminal barrister. I've spent 20 years making 2-hour journeys back and forth to courts, spending God knows how much money on trains for a 5-minute hearing where nothing really happens. And they've now been happening online, on screen like this. And it could be a fundamental change to how the way that my business operates. I mean, obviously a jury trial is a different matter. And I think that may be true with a lot of businesses.
Yeah, I mean, I really do love working in the bookstore or being around the bookstore. But actually, I have such a small office within the building because we don't have office space proper. I don't really want to go back to it. I don't want to look at a tiny little room and sit there and read. I'd rather be here. Anyway.
Well, you will do in the winter, David.
Yeah, I will, absolutely. I've been trying to convince my partner to build an outhouse so we can work here anyway.
So talking to the bookstore, that's Goldsboro Books in London, in Cecil Court.
Yes.
How long has Goldsboro Books been going
now? 21 years this September. Yes, we're celebrating. We had planned a big party, and now we've got other things planned where we're going to do an anthology of stories and pieces from some of our favorite writers this year to celebrate our birthday. Goldsboro Books was never meant to be a bookstore. Daniel and I, who own the company, in 1999 decided we'd watched Amazon grow from 95. And we thought, well, there's a market here for signed first editions because we love books and we collect signed first editions. And we thought we would just open an online bookstore and sell only signed copies. But the logistics of that are difficult. Because how do you get authors to sign books? And we were running it from our house. And I remember one author coming to sign 200 copies of The Air Affair with Jasper Ford. He was one of the first authors to come to our house to sign. Well, certainly the house that we were running the business from. And anyway, the logistics became a nightmare to get authors to and sign copies. So we decided to open a bookstore. But anyway, Goldsboro Books is 21 years old this September.
It's as a store, I can't imagine it not being a store. I have to be honest. I just can't get my head around there not being a Goldsboro Books. And it really has, to say it's gone from strength to strength is probably the biggest underestimate of the day, isn't it? It's an iconic place now. In 21 years, it's become an absolute icon of the publishing world.
And it's done with passion. And lots of people have said to us in the past, you know, where did you get Goldsboro from, or where did you buy this company? But it was just an idea that has formed. So in 21 years, we've done very well, and I'm very proud of it. And so is Daniel.
I know, absolutely. You absolutely should be. I mean, it's become a rite of passage really now for every writer there are certain things that make you feel like you've made it. And there were, one of the things is perhaps seeing your book in a, weirdly, the opposite end of the market, but in a W.H. Smith in an airport. I mean, as a thriller writer, that's kind of your thing. You're thinking you're in the airport. That's where you see these things. But getting to go to Goldsboro and sign however many first editions that you guys have bought of the hardbacks, or in my case, even this year, a special edition Goldsboro only hardback, that really is a proper rite of passage. That makes you feel, you've made it. There might not be a huge amount of money being earned, but you've made it.
Yeah, well, that makes me happy because we want to sell books. It doesn't matter how where or when, but if we make an author happy, and that's one of the things that I know Daniel is the same. We're very, very conscious about this. We want authors to come to our bookstore and walk away and think that was one of the most extraordinary experiences, even if it's not an exclusive, but they've come into Goldsboro and they've signed and we've looked after them, and it's been an exciting experience because, as you know, I'm a literary agent as well as a bookseller, and one of the things that I understand about writers is that they spend hours, days, months writing something that becomes so personal to them, and at the end of the day, when that writing has been manufactured and produced into a book form, that's something tangible and something really extraordinary to them. And I love that. I mean, I love the whole books and stories. I mean, that's why I do what I do. But it makes me very, very happy when an author comes into our bookstore for the first time and sees their physical copy. They've not seen it before they get to Goldsboro. And that makes me very happy. And so hearing it from an author who experiences that makes me, it fills me with joy because I'm doing something that I really love. It's not really a job. So anyway,
no, it's just a wonderful thing. And then I think the natural progression is the one that you took from then, which was to start the literary agency.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
12 years ago, I decided to become a literary agent.
Because what was the compulsion for that? Why was that step?
Because authors were coming into my bookstore, and I knew. And I still know. I mean, that's my job. I know lots of people in publishing, and I've got lots of friends in publishing. I know everybody, and everybody knows me.
Yeah.
I've made that quite.
That's very true.
And authors were asking me how they could get published, or I'd hear horror stories where an author had been told by their current agent that they might as well give up writing because they would never be published again. And I just thought, well, how can you? Well, for that author, he was my first client. I took him on, and I got him two book deals within 24 hours of each other from two different publishing houses because he'd written two different genres, and I just thought, well, I knew where to place those two books. The author has now had 27 books published, and he's still very happy with me. He's not left me. He's making money
after being told that there's nowhere for him,
and that's after being told that there was no future for him as a writer.
That's incredible. I mean, that again, that must give you so much pride and so much satisfaction to achieve that.
Well, sometimes an author is with the wrong agent, and so sometimes that has to be factored.
Yeah.
That when an author finds an agent, like I hear this all the time. Authors are looking for agents, and they literally will go for the first agent that they're offered representation from. I would say is make sure that agent is right for you, because you can go anywhere and find a really great agent, but if they don't really love your work, and that's what it comes down to, if they don't really love your work, there will come a time when they don't want to read your book and then just say, I don't want to sell this, or I can't sell this, because they're not really passionate about the author. I'm very mindful about what clients who I represent, because I have to really love the book, or I have to really love writing. So I don't have a massive stable of authors. I have a very nice list. I have a very, very good commercial, award-winning, very successful list of authors, and I'm passionate about them all because they're all brilliantly doing what they do very well. And we get on very well, and they trust me and I trust them, and I think that's a really important factor in being an agent.
Yeah.
Anyway, I became an agent 12 years ago, and then it's grown, and I've employed some other agents to join me, and I have I have agreements with other agents that are now working with me. And we, our authors have won awards, and they're selling internationally incredibly well. Some of them have got TV deals. Some of them have, it's going very, very, very well. Yeah. And we look after
it's another big success, isn't it? And I know that one of your authors, I think one of your actual authors is Adam Handy.
Yes.
Who this year wrote, well, I think the end of last year, in fact, released Black 13, which is just a fantastic thriller.
Though he's represented by Hannah Shepherd.
Hannah, within your agency. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with Adam, I think the two of you together set up another instant overnight success with Capital Crime last year.
Yeah. Capital Crime has been in my mind for a number of years, and Capital Crime was a name that I'd registered because I live in London. We have the bookstore in London. We had Crime in the Court as a festival anyway, and I wanted to make that bigger. I wanted it to be a much more commercial, a much bigger festival. And Adam and I were in New York a couple of years ago, and we were at Thriller Fest, and we said London needs this. And I said to Adam, well, I've got Capital Crime as the name.
Yeah.
And then the back of a taxi between the hotel and the airport, Capital Crime was born. I swore on my life I'll never get another cab with Adam.
I was on a panel at Capital Crime last year. I managed to get myself there despite having a bust leg because I wasn't going to miss it. Pain aside, and being off my face on various painkillers aside, I've got to say, it's again, I'm not just saying because I'm talking to you. I genuinely mean this. It was far and away the best example of a festival that I've been to. I mean, it was just very much for the readers. It was very much so inclusive, and it was just a fantastic event and a fantastic thing to put on. And do you have any indication at all of whether it's going to be possible in the current climate?
I don't know. We're still waiting for government advice. We hope that we can host it. We're hosting it on the first weekend of October this year.
Yes, so it's a long way off.
If they find any way of eradicating the disease, or certainly making it possible for us to do something, then of course we will do it.
Yeah.
But our priority really is to look after not just ourselves and our teams, but the authors and the people that we want to invite to come along. So right now it's too early to say. I don't know. I mean, we'll just keep going. We will have to make a decision sooner rather than later, but we'll get to that.
I mean, it's as I say, it would be a shame. It would be a shame if you couldn't have it, but there's so many that haven't been able to. It's out of everyone's hands, isn't it? There's just no
absolutely.
There's no blame or anything. It's just you've got to do what you have to do. And as you said, it's people's health is the most important thing. And Adam, of course, is extremely vocal in relation to the whole COVID-19 thing, and has been for months. And
well, I mean, he was calling it right from the very beginning. He knew, because he has experience of this. He used to work in the medical industry, and he was watching it, and he and I were talking, and we could see things that we were both. I mean, he is far more experienced in these things than I am. And I'm not going to say anything more other than that Adam at the very beginning had said that some of these things should have happened, and then subsequently they happened, but it was too late to stop it being as bad as it has been. Anyway, so
he certainly called it right, because I was in touch with him about the whole thing as well. He's not to the extent you were, but I was very much in agreement with him. He's a very, very clever man, very sensible man.
Yeah.
The 15 minutes are almost up, David. I told you they fly, don't
really?
They really do. But there's so much more I wanted to ask you, but then we can't get on Instagram, so we'll have to call it a day there. But it's been wonderful speaking to you. It's great hearing about Goldsboro. Always happy to hear about Goldsboro, and great to hear about everything else. And fingers crossed for Capital Crime, and if not this year, then 100% next year, of course.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate you asking me to do this. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you saying yes. So thank you very much. And I'm going to jump off before we lose our 15 minutes. So take care, and I'll see you soon.
Cheers.